All
Yeah, I
right,
had a feeling I'd already seen
all
it.
right, guys, we're recording.
Keep laughing, princess.
So, Durro,
Yeah.
Handyman is operating the speeder. Guys are traveling back. The girls are super excited about the oasis that they had found, and they are just yakking up how exciting this place is.
An oasis.
Of course, says Handyman. I mean, after all, these beings do require food.
Well, of course, I'm just a little surprised. How far away from the ship is it?
It's roughly about an. It's well, it's not far. However, it is easy to reach for the ship.
But you found it in the speeder.
Of course, it won't be far for the ship.
How far was it for the speeder?
Just about 45 minutes.
I see, you made a wide circuit.
Well, the ship's sensors identified it.
I see. Well, I look forward to seeing the data, and perhaps the oasis itself before we leave.
Of course. Ah, Gungnir. It approaches. Well, we approach it.
I was about to say. So they approach the ship?
Give me a second. I gotta find out if Lily's coming back or not. She jumped off and
She is.
okay, okay, cool. You guys approach the ship, but there's an odd thing. The
They-
first things you notice as you're like circling around the ship is the blast covers for the bridge are deployed, and the cargo bay is sealed. Quite interesting.
Were you expecting intruders, handyman?
Oh, we left it in normal operations with the cargo bay opened up.
Oh, wait, out of character. They leave the cargo bay opened up? How is there not sand just everywhere?
Because there's a shield that prevents that.
Oh, okay, fancy. All right, well, can we access the ship from the outside?
Stand by. And he gets out and approaches and opens up a secured access panel. It appears that the ship is on security lockdown. I can override it.
Who placed the ship on security lockdown?
Apparently, the bridge was attacked.
Attacked? Can you access that data from here? Who attacked?
The ship is being stubborn. As he like pulls back and a data rod extends from his arm and he puts it in there, and you can see it moving as he's trying to access the ship. I
Oh,
understand.
ooh.
However, you need to comply.
Durro will look at Cheery and say, all the best pilots and mechanics talk to their machines.
That's okay. You should see some of the other things I've heard. Like when Tassara was trying to fly, You made some really, really loud noises. I don't quite understand all the words, but they were definitely loud.
Oh, I'm sure they were.
I've agreed. The ship has agreed to let us in. However, it states that there is a serious problem going.
What kind of serious problem?
It doesn't know, just that the bridge has been attacked. Unfortunately, the security systems are separate from the overall ship.
I see.
And
Well, I guess the first stop is the bridge.
the cargo bay opens up, and you guys are allowed to enter. Master Taltanis, if stay here and guard, he says, drawing out a pair of black. If the bridge was attacked, we'll be going into.
Yes, I was about to make that very same suggestion. Well, wish me luck. He'll head for the lift to go up to the bridge deck.
Okay, so you head up to the main level, and you uh the lift opens up. Give me a second.
During the pause, I will say he is also reaching out with the force to try to get an idea of what's going on,
Give me a
see if there's anything he can sense.
give me a sense check, please. Give me a sense check, please.
18 pre-origin bonus.
Okay, so reaching out, you can sense fear on the level of panic. So strong. Hadaza, you hear the lift right outside the door open up. Durro, give me a spot check, please.
All right, so Durro's room is right by the lift.
Yeah.
That makes sleeping interesting.
Durro sleeps? I thought he just meditated.
Well, you know, 8.
8?
The pre-bonuses, obviously.
Okay. So you're
Oh
looking
wait, did you
around.
say listen? Did you say listen or spot?
Spot.
Okay, I rolled the wrong thing.
Okay.
That's even worse. Rolled a 6.
Okay.
Pre-bonuses.
So you're reaching out to the force, and you move to take a step, and you notice that your door is locked.
Visually, he sees it. He didn't try his door.
Right. There's a little red light that indicates that the door is locked.
Curious. He'll put his hand on the door and reach out with the force.
Feel that panic.
Hello? Has anybody barricaded themselves in my quarters?
Also, you hear Duro's voice.
Chara? Chara? Is that you?
Well, of course it's me. What are you doing barricaded in my quarters? Open the
Prove it.
door.
Prove it.
Prove it how?
Can't, I won't open the door.
Oh, so that's how it's going to be.
Silence. She's not going to answer.
Yeah, sorry, out of character. I was trying to think.
Okay, no worries.
In character means he's trying to think as well. Probably close his eyes, focusing. Probably reach out with a sense of calm, trying to project calm into the room. He may also try to reach out with the Force, test what kind of telepathic connection they might have. See if he can send her, let her feel in the Force that it is him.
Hadassah, go ahead and roll wisdom.
Does Durro need to roll anything?
You can feel him through the force reaching out to you. A soft, subtle wave of calm comes over you.
Need to roll charisma.
Um, no, I'm gonna let this one be agency. You can play it how you want.
She climbs down. She uncurls slowly off the bed and walks over to the door and puts her hand on it. Is it really you?
It's really me. Do you know what happened on the bridge? The security system says the ship was attacked, but I've not been able to gather any more information beyond that.
When I got into the bridge, it said that the security lockdown was in effect. That's
So
all I know.
you didn't see the attacker.
She opens the door and he can see her standing there with the blaster in her hand. Stun baton is on the bed behind her.
Oh, so it's to be that kind of evening, he'll say with a grin.
She doesn't smile back. Her eyes are wild and she's looking at him pleadingly and then past him with an eagle's eye looking for. She believes it something. He doesn't know what.
He'll put a hand reassuringly on her shoulder and say, "What is it? What has you so on alert?"
I think Astra tried to kill me.
What? Astra tried to kill you.
Yes. I think she's the one who put the ship on lockdown.
The woman won't even eat Ewok. What makes you think she'd be capable of killing you? You know what? It doesn't matter. We'll get to the bottom of this. You can either come with me or stay here if you feel safer, but I'm going to the bridge. The security systems will let me know everything that happened here.
Stay here, if you don't mind.
I don't. Feel free to lock the door behind me.
I will.
And Durro will summon his lightsaber to his hand from where it sits in front of his weapons display, put it on his belt, and head for the bridge.
Okay.
I'll just step back in, close, and lock the door.
Stand by. Need to bring up the schematics of the ship.
Speaking of which, out of character, I really liked that video Hodge posted.
Yeah, you ain't lying, dude. I was watching it right before the game and then got distracted. So Durro, at the north end of the or where you see mechanic A, you see EL. You see that on the map of the ship?
Oh yeah, that's the lift, right?
Yes, that's the lift. That's you're starting right there. Now, at the nose, we're gonna call that the east. The aft end of the ship, we're gonna call that west. You understand?
Yeah, cardinal directions based on the image orientation. I
Right.
got it.
We're gonna do cardinal directions. Now, where you're standing to the west of you, that first room, that's Duro's quarters.
Gotcha.
Okay. So Desara's quarters is right across the hall. You're heading to the bridge, correct?
Yes.
All right. So you move down the corridor and you turn to the east and you start heading down that corridor. Um, and as you move down, you don't see anything. You don't sense anything afoot. Where it says CRU, that area has been that is the girls' room, the little girls' room. It has been set
Right.
up to be their room.
Yes, I'm familiar. Right.
Okay, you cross that corridor or that intersection. To the left, or I'm sorry, to the north of you is that ESC is the escape pod chamber. To the south is where it says CRW. That is the lounge area slash library. And hold on, I gave Hodge bad information. CRY Hodge is not the library. That's the armory. You turn that corner and you start heading south. And the moment you turn that corner, you can see the door for the bridge, this blast door ripped off its hinges. Now, this is not a military grade warship, but it's still a heavy door that's been ripped from the hinges and tossed to the side like a child ripping his toys apart.
Reaching out with the force, does he sense anything?
There are two life forms on this level that you can sense, and you're very familiar with Astra, and you just communicated with Hodge.
Can he tell in the force where Astra is?
It's not a beacon like that, but he can definitely tell that she's on this level and that she.
Okay. Well, he will enter the bridge and see if he can access the security systems.
Okay, as you approach the bridge and you look around, everything looks normal, except for all the displays read security lockdown in place. And you can walk up to the command console, and there is your keypad to access the mainframe.
Now, given his position on the crew, I'm sure he has a security code. Just put that in, lift the lockdown, and see
You
if we can figure out what the heck happened here.
So you type it in, and you have a message from Professor Kenobi waiting.
All right, let's play or look at that, depending on if it's voice or text.
It's a video.
All right, well, we'll play that then.
Okay. Professor Kenobi is sitting there in the command chair of the Gungnir, leaning back. He's got a cupcake in one hand and a cigar in the other. And he takes a big long drag, lets it out slowly. Durro Theltan, giving you everything No, 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 no. Wait. Start over. And he puts himself back in a position. My friend Sultan. No, no, no. Scratch that. Let's do this again. You know what? And he puts a cupcake down, puts a cigar down, and leans in and looks at it and is like, okay, Durro, of all the freeloaders on this ship, I think I've come closest to calling you friend. I want you to know that I'm not going to be around very often. Doesn't mean I'm not going to be with you. Just, I have a lot of thinking. Last night, amazing encounter. Let's just say, amazing. She's made me realize I need I think I need to but I had a daughter. My daughter I didn't even know existed. She's gone. Dead. I have transferred all command codes or effectively the Gungnir's cap. Don't don't get too big for your lightsaber. Still my. You may see me in passing here or there. For the time being, I expect you to respect my privacy. My personal shuttlecraft will be off, including you. For the time being, Gungnir belongs. Your code will every lock except for mine on every door. Handyman has been instructed to respond to your every order. But there are some things you need to know. Handyman is your best agent. He is not just any droid. See, Durro, I found Handyman, well, in a place where spies are born. You'll find him a great resource when it comes to doing things that the rest of you freeloaders willing to. He looks back behind him. Now, if you'll forgive me, I'm gonna go show this amazing woman, old man, and done producing. He smiles, reaches forward, and flips the screen off. That's it.
Durro will look thoughtful for a moment and then continue his actual mission, checking the security system, find out what the heck attacked the ship.
Well, your code, you have the option to lift the security lockout or access any number of security cameras throughout the ship. There are the common security cameras, which are listed in blue. There are the covert security cameras, which are listed in yellow. And then there are the ones that Durro will raise an eyebrow at that are listed in red. The red ones are currently turned off, but they do exist.
All right, well, we will come back to that. Um, Out of character, I know what happened, but Durro does not. So he will start with the blue and access whatever he needs to do to get a picture of what happened here.
So
If
The blue ones
So if blue
cover
isn't gonna go to yellow.
Yeah, so the blue ones cover all the corridors, the bridge, the lifts, any of the like the mess, any of the obvious places. Okay, the yellows cover everywhere else, like the armory, the mechanical bays, cargo area. There's even surprisingly, there's some on your shuttle.
Now that was an unauthorized addition.
They record audio and visual. You know all the events of the last game, except for anything that happened in Ashra's quarters, because, well, those cameras are.
Yes, and they shall remain so. All right. So
Surprisingly, though, the cameras for the newly renovated girls' room are also listed in red. But according to the data, it looks like they recently were transferred from common area cameras to red.
probably when the room was converted. Right. So Durro is also aware of what went on in like Hodge's journal entry, right?
Um, well, yes and no. So you see Hodge leave the medbay. The information in the journal is basically accurate. The thing is you can see her moving about looking paranoid. Now, you can bring up multiple cameras and you can see Ashra leaning out, leaving her or leaving that intersection because it that incident happened at the intersection where the living quarters are. And she goes south into her room. You can see her go into her room, and then on other monitors you can watch Hodge move about the ship. She looks like every once in a while she'll like look around as if she hears something or sees something and then moves on. And then you see her take the lift and she goes down to the training area, and on one of the yellow cameras you can see her working out there, you know. And then she's finishing. I mean, she does a hell of a workout, dude. You're kind of impressed with how much her skill has grown. But then as it's starting to wind down, you see her look for something. She goes and she grabs the stun baton, just like in her journal, and goes looking for whatever it was that made the sound. And she's moving around, searching around, looking for something, as if she's trying to find out. And then she goes ahead and starts moving back, and she puts the stun baton away, and then heads back for the lift. And then up the lift, and then as she exits the lift, it also continues to play out like in her journal. Everything kind of plays out that way. And she moves and she looks like something startled her. And she bolts as fast as she can for the bridge. And you see her reach out with her hand, and you kind of can tell the technique that she uses. You've seen Tassara use it many times when Tassara's trying to move object, and she reaches out and grabs the door of the bridge to throw it open, but it doesn't open. Now, there's a flag in the recording which tells you that a security event occurred.
That's when the door was ripped off of well,
No.
I can't say it hinges.
Well, no, that's the thing. Not when it happened.
Curious. All right. So what did happen? What was the security event?
Unauthorized access into the bridge. Security protocols engaged. Bridge locked down.
So Hodge was not authorized to access the bridge?
She tried to use the force instead of accessing it using her access code.
Right, right. Okay.
And then you can see her looking around. She's, dripping with sweat, exhausted. Well, not really exhausted. Sorry, let me rephrase that. But she is dripping with sweat. And she looks panicked. And she runs off again as fast as she can down the length of the Gungnir. And at this thing, you notice something odd. Well, after she passes the crew quarters and turns and heads into the med bay, you see Asher kind of poke her head out of her quarters, look around confused, and then pokes her head back into her quarters, and you see the light go from green to red. And you see Hodge rush into the quarters, grab a an oxygen bottle, and puts the mask over her breath and starts looking around, or over her mouth, and starts looking around and grabbing, what weapons she can, scalpels and syringe, and I mean just anything she can make a weapon out of. Definitely looking panicked. And she waits. Then sneaks out carefully, quietly. Got her oxygen bottle with her. She's and she moves over and she picks up the weapons from intersection. She arms herself and she starts cutting through different areas of the ship. You can follow her sneaking her way around trying to get back to the bridge. And she goes ahead and gets back to the bridge, and you see her reach out with the force first time, and she's fighting the door's resisting, and then she can't do it. Takes a deep breath. Just at the moment you think she's going to reach out to the dark side, just at the moment you think her anger and fear is going to take hold of her, doesn't. Step back, deep breath, reaches out, and you can see the calmness on her face as if, she's washing herself over with the force as she rips the door off the hinges. Not the dark side. Pretty sure of that. Now, you don't see it, you know, because, well, it happened. You're watching the camera, but it's not what you see in her face. Definitely didn't give in to her. But she does rip the doors off the hinges, and another security flag is triggered.
And that's when everything got locked down and locked out.
Correct. The ship goes into general lockdown. A coded security message was sent to the captain of the ship, informing him of intruders aboard. Unfortunately, that message is still in the buffer.
All right. So now that he's caught up and out of character for the record, he saw that Astra did not have her blaster, right? That she
Astra had
only pulled it out to put it on the ground.
correct.
All right. So why the com issues?
It's the timestamp that bothers you.
Okay.
Looking at the timestamps on the videos when all this happened, and you're looking at your own chrono. So it's only noon. I mean, looking at it, you guys only been gone for the morning, and you're looking at the chrono display on the Gungnir for these things, for these VINs. It's almost midnight.
Right. Well, Durro will start a full diagnostic on the ship. Have it have it run, basically do a scan to see if there are any mechanical or software problems. Just a complete diagnostic of the system. Try to figure out where that discrepancy happened.
Okay.
But if the time seems to line up with the events he was watching, it's not just the clocks are off, but like that much time seems to have passed in the footage, well then that's something else entirely.
It that's the problem. I mean, granted, you fast forwarded through the slow parts and only caught the big parts, but yeah, it does.
Well, that's some shenanigans right there. All right, well, lift the entire security lockdown then, and we'll whichever room is closer, Astra's or Duro's, will head there first.
Um, they're equal distance. It's Astra's quarters are directly south of Durro's at that intersection.
Hang on, let me pull up that map again. Right, so so just south of his is hers.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, while he is walking west back that direction, he will reach out with the telepathic link they share and just let her know that he is back and that he is aware of what has transpired and that they can talk about it in a bit.
Okay. Astra, you get that message.
Duro's gonna get relief and thank the Force back.
All right, and then he will return to his quarters.
They are locked.
Haj, I'm back.
You hear the door unlock.
And he will step in and telekinetically return his lightsaber to where he picked it up from.
She watches it move across the room.
So, it appears there is no major security threat aboard the ship. I reviewed all of the security footage from the time I was gone, which raises its own set of questions that I have no idea how to answer. First of all, how long do you think we were gone?
You've been gone all day and most of the night.
That's the thing. If you ask Handyman or the girls, we've only been gone a few hours. According to my chrono, and he'll even show it to her, it's only a little after noon.
I've had time to have a full day's training with Astra and laid down for not one but two different naps. And then everything changed. When did you get the message from Astra that I had mistakenly picked up the poison?
We hadn't been in the village for very long. We were sharing a, well, snack with Nezial in her hut. That was when I got that message.
I see.
Regardless, I did look at all the security footage. I'm not sure why you think Astra was trying to kill you. The closest I can think of is the confrontation you two had in the corridors, but she bore no weapons towards you. So I'm not sure why you would have felt threatened there.
Didn't she?
Not according to what I saw. She took her blaster out and immediately put it on the floor when you asked, and then put her lightsaber down when you asked as well. There was never a weapon pointed in your direction, nor did she make any threatening movements. But that's the only time I can think of where you might have felt you were in danger.
She cut the air off. She was in the bridge. The door was locked. She cut the air off.
She never left her room. The door was locked the first time because you tried to use the force to open it instead of the access panel. It took
She's
that as it took that as an attack and triggered a low-level security lockdown, just locking the door and making sure it could not be breached. Later, when you returned and pulled the door open, that triggered the full lockdown and locking you out of the system. Because again, it read as an attack on the door.
She set that toy in the hallway for me to trip over as an early warning system as I was headed toward.
Out of character, was there a toy?
There was.
There was legitimately a toy in the hallway.
But did Durro see on the footage how it got there, or just was it always there from the last time the girls were aboard?
It was there the entire time. It wasn't like, I mean, he can go back to different point. I mean, he didn't, but when he saw her moving through the corridor, he saw it there.
That's what I mean. In
Yeah.
all, he watched basically the entire time he was gone, and the toy was always there. Astra didn't put it there.
It I want to say yes, but it would be unrealistic for Duro to watch all the cameras, even those that had no action going to it. I'll say this. Give me a dice roll, okay? 15 or better off your intelligence means that you remember seeing it in the back of some other frame that you were watching as you were trying to learn the security system.
Okay, so roll intelligence and a 15 or better, he remembers seeing it.
Right.
Oh, well, that is a 16. So there we go.
There we go. Answer.
No, I don't believe she placed it. No, I don't believe she placed it. It was already there when I started reviewing the security footage. And I started from the time we left because I wasn't sure when the intruder had come aboard. I would hazard a guess one of the girls left it before they left.
You can see her eyes start to dart in her head as she's trying to remember, as she's trying to process what he's saying and what she experienced, which are diametrically opposed.
If I had
She
to... Go ahead.
she she doesn't trust me. She thinks I'm lying to her. She thinks I'm weak and small and dangerous. And I told her that if she really thought that, I told her, Duro, that if she really felt that way, that she should put me someplace, lock me in my quarters, put me back in the back of the tank. This was just after you had left. And she said no, and if she had, then this would not have happened. This she would not have. She was cruel and and she doesn't trust me. She thinks like, she's starting to ramble and not make sense, and you can see the confusion and the cognitive dissonance all over her energetic and all over her face.
He would once again place a hand gently on her shoulder,
She pulls
exuding.
back.
No, he won't. He won't push the issue, but he is projecting calm into the force. If I had to hazard a guess, you're tired and still in need of recovery. It's probably a good idea for you to get some rest. It seems your mind, your fear, was playing tricks on you, likely due to fatigue from still recovering from your injuries. Astra clearly didn't think you were enough of a danger to lock you up or otherwise incapacitate you. So, to say that she believes you are dangerous and is threatening you is a leap in logic, to be sure. Perhaps you should take another session in the back of the tank. I believe you still need a few more before you are fully healed.
I believe if you watch those recordings, then you'll notice that my time in the training area proves that I'm quite healed. Thank you.
Well, if you don't wish to go into the back of the tank, I can't make you, but at the very least, I believe you need some rest. Certainly, it seems time has passed for you here a lot faster than it's passed for us outside. So for you, it's late. Perhaps you should get some rest, unwind, and come at this with a fresh perspective in the morning.
She's giving him a bit of the side eye at this point. She wants to believe that he has her best interest. He can see the struggle on her face because she's still so agitated by the events of what for her have been hours and hours of existing at this high adrenaline pitch. I think I think I should be alone right now.
He will nod and say, "All right, but I'll be aboard if you need anything."
Good evening. And she walks past him. She still has the blaster in her hand. As she walks past him and heads toward her quarters.
Well, he would stay where he is until she left.
She's not far down the corridor when you see her stop and look back over her shoulder. I'm glad you're on board. Thank you.
You know I'll always do my best to be here for you.
See her shoulders loosen just a little. I really need to believe that right now.
He will nod reassuringly, still projecting a sense of calm in the force, almost like an aura.
And a tear slips from her eye as she turns and heads down the hall to her quarters.
Durro.
Yes.
So, as you are standing there, you see Hadaza disappear into her quarters. Um, you hear your comlink go off. It's Handyman.
Ah, handyman. The threat has been assessed, and, well, there is no threat, so whenever you and the girls wish to come to the main level.
I would not be
Oh,
so sure.
oh,
I have captured our intruder. And you hear in the background Cheery screaming, "Can I keep it? Can I keep it? I promise I'll take care of it. I want it. Please, please, please let me keep it."
all right, I'm on my way down.
Need not, sir. We're coming up.
All right, I'll be here.
And a few minutes later, you see the lift open up, and you see Handyman come out, and you see Cheery holding this furry little creature with big ears and a big bushy tail. It's roughly about the size of, you know, her chest. So it's kind of a large feline think kind of creature, purring as she's petting it.
Another freeloader? He will ask Handyman
I
with a raised eyebrow.
I will take care of it. I promise. Let me keep him. I want to call him. I want to call him Hodge.
Hodge. There's already a Hodge on board.
But yeah, Hodge is beautiful and strong, and nothing ever like she's really really amazing. And Hodge, and she holds the creature up by its, and it's just like kind of like "Meow," looking at you. And she's like, Hodge is stealthy and quick. He gave Handyman a run for his money. I had to stun it, catch it.
I see. Well, why don't you find some way to secure it, and we will revisit that topic in a few minutes.
Are we going back to the Oasis?
I'm not sure. I need to complete an assessment of what has gone on aboard this ship.
And Handyman will turn to the girls. Return to your quarters, change, shower, and let's make sure we get everything taken care of so that we can go ahead and move on. And please secure creature. It's Little Hodge. We already have a big Hodge. I'm gonna call it Little Hodge.
Well, that's assuming that the creature stays aboard. But for now, find somewhere to secure it.
And she looks at you with these big, big red puppy dog eyes. Please.
I'm fortunate that does not work on me. My decision will be made rationally and not this moment.
It'll work on Tara, says mumbling as she walks.
I have no doubt it will, which is why I will have to make the decision before she returns.
So the girls walk away and Handyman is sending. Orders, sir.
I would like you to assist the ship in making a complete diagnostic. According to the security footage, several hours have passed, more than we experienced out in the village. Whereas it's just after noon for us, it is almost midnight aboard the ship, according to its own internal systems, and the security footage bears that out. Several hours have passed, in which a lot seems to have happened.
Yes, sir. I will work with the endeavor. Turns and walks away.
Well, out of character, I feel like I have monopolized most of the session. If anyone else has a scene that they want to do,
To Sarah.
if not, Dura wants to talk to Astra, but I would rather let Tassara have a scene if she's up for it or wants to.
There are fireworks going off in my town. They're very loud, so I would actually prefer holding off until the fireworks are over.
Yes. Ask Sammy if she'd like a scene.
Nova's saying no.
Okay. All right. Durro, you're back in the hot seat.
All right. Well, go knock, knock, knock on Astra's door.
Who is it?
It's the Tooth Fairy. Who do you think it is?
Hello, Master. And she'll open the door and step aside so he can step in if he wants.
He will.
Was Hadaza?
Tired. Very paranoid. What exactly happened while we were away?
She's not the only one that got paranoid, but yeah, a lot. Hadaza. After Hadaza took a nap, like we did some training and she took a bad nap in the middle of that, and then we trained some more, and then she kind of passed out because she tried to push herself further than she should have gone. And anyways, we get her back into her room to go to sleep, and I went to the training area to go train. And she comes to me like an hour or two later asking me about visions. Apparently she had one of the professor and Phelan while she was in the galley. And something in her questioning tells me that there was more to the vision than she was letting on. So I asked her, and that set her off. She accused me of being paranoid and refusing to, or like keeping a close eye on her, which she already knew I was doing that because that's what we had agreed on after we called you about the rat poison. Right? So I decided to go back to my room and leave her alone. And I tried contacting my Ashanti and Saba in them, and I can't contact them, Master. It's like they're gone, but Soul is here. If I focus on speaking to him, I can see him.
Yes, I heard you mention Soul when I was reviewing the security data.
Yeah, well, he started warning me of danger and that Hadaza was gonna try and attack me. And given the incident with the rat poison and what we know about her programming, that seemed fairly likely. And I thought about it and went back and forth with Soul on it, and decided that I didn't want just my lightsaber because it's a lethal weapon and really freaking dangerous and kind of hard to just incapacitate someone and not leave permanent scars, with a lightsaber. So I went to the armory and checked out a blaster, made sure it was on, had a stun setting and was set to stun, and went back to my quarters. Next thing I know, Hadaza is going up and down the hallway and parked herself outside of my quarters, and then she disappears, and Soul starts in on she's gonna attack you. She went into the armory. There's door breachers in there. She's gonna kill you. So I went to see what she was doing. And next thing I know, Hadaza is running at me with the stun baton. I de-escalated the situation as best I could, and then I returned to my quarters and did not leave. Except to poke my head out because there was some really crazy loud noise, and it's hard to meditate when that's going on. But I chose not to leave. That leaving Hadaza to her own devices would be the best option.
Yes, that does line up with what I saw on the security footage. You want to know what I find most interesting about your misadventures aboard the ship?
What's that, Master?
He will show her his chrono. Not say anything, not point it out, just show her his timekeeper.
Does she notice anything about it?
Well, if she looks at the date and time on it.
Well, that's why I'm asking the GM. Is she gonna notice that there's a difference?
I mean, it's a chrono. It's obviously not accurate.
I think your chrono's broken
Why do you think that?
because that's not correct. And she'll go dig up a chrono device that's probably somewhere in her room and point it out.
Yes, I noticed that as well, but if you ask Handyman or the girls, this chrono is accurate to what we were experiencing outside the ship.
But more time than that has passed here.
Yes. Which raises the question, how and why?
True.
Just more oddities on Origin.
Yeah, not that this one seems not as dangerous as the current situation, though.
While I agree that you temporarily gave in to your fear and very nearly made a mistake you might regret or might have regretted, the fact of the matter is after your confrontation with Hodge and after you returned to your quarters, all of that tension, all of everything that made her alert and made her afraid for her safety just continued. She was on high alert the entire time. And I think the threat being passed and the adrenaline leaving her system is, well, made her crash.
That's good. That she's getting some sleep. Not so good that she's that does explain all of the noise and the running around and the crashing I heard. And that's not so good.
No, it's not. Well, considering what time it is for you, I would recommend getting some rest. In a few hours, I will have both you and Haj report to the medical bay for a complete medical analysis. I have instructed Handyman to do what he can to determine if that much time really has passed on the ship, or if there is some problem with the internal scanners and sensors. But considering what you both have been through, I would also like a full medical scan.
And Astral raise an eyebrow and give him a real questioning look like, okay?
I'm just covering all of the bases.
Neither of us is, well, I don't know about Hadaza, but I'm definitely not hurt.
Hurt? No. But you can't contact Ashanti or the others, and now Soul is in their place.
Yeah, that's a little confusing.
That, and going and retrieving a blaster to deal with your, how do you refer to her, your chosen sister, is very out of character for you. that compared with the increased speed of time passage makes me wonder if there's something we're not seeing yet happening aboard the ship. Which is why I want you and Hodge especially to have a full medical scan done. If there is anything odd happening, Handyman will find it.
I would suggest for now that um Hadaza and I, or Hodge and I, stay separate, though, Master. So,
That is probably for the best.
I mean, I can report to the med bay while she's sleeping. I'm perfectly fine. I was just meditating most of this time.
If you'd like. I think Handyman is still working on the bridge, though.
All right, then. Just let me know when to go to the med bay, I guess.
He will nod. Was there anything else? Did you try to contact me from the ship during any of this?
Yeah, I tried telepathy, which I got no response from, and then I tried sending you a message asking you for help because let's see, when did I send that message? I think I sent it before the confrontation in the hall. And I got no response back, so
My communicator acted like it was receiving a call. 2 calls, actually, but all I heard was a tone I had never heard before when I opened the line.
yeah, I think I called and then the call that wouldn't go through on my end, so I sent a message. Like a text message.
Well, I received none of it, which again makes me question what is going on with the ship.
Yeah. Although I think someone's programming needs to be dealt with sooner rather than later.
Oh, I agree.
So kind of look towards the door.
Well, I certainly agree, but I still need to figure out what is to be done about that. Speaking
Mm,
of, I do have some research I need to do, and you can either rest, get something to eat. I'm not sure what your state of mind is, but as far as I know, Hodge has returned to her quarters, so you are little chance of bumping into her in the corridors.
all right. Thank you.
Although if you want a distraction, the girls found some sort of intruder in the cargo bay, a feline-like creature,
Oh, I
about the
have
size.
to see this. Where are they?
Well, they are in the girls' quarters. I told Cheery to find a way to secure it. She wants to keep it. I'm not 100% sold yet.
I so have to see this.
He'll grin at her and nod and leave the quarters.
And Astral had to go see the creature and the girls.
And Durro heads to the bridge to find Handyman. Have the fireworks stopped yet?
Yeah, they have, but I don't know if you what Mike wants to do from here.
Okay, so hold on a second. So Astra, when you get to the girls' room, they're all laying on their bunks, looking inward. In the center of the room, there is this adorable, like sand-colored creature. It looks like it's got some type of sand-colored camouflage on it, and he's got these like kind of really big teeth. I mean, definitely looks like a predatorial animal, but he's not very. I mean, he's roughly about the size of a small dog, and she's got this long stick with with uh a a with a sock tied to it, and she's playing with it, and the creature's like just running around like swatting at it, and it's making these cute little adorable noises, and as you walk in, it turns and looks at you.
Oh my gosh, that's the most adorable thing I've seen in a while.
And then it goes
And
back to
she'll
playing.
say it in Sibisty. Cheery,
Yes,
where did you guys find that?
it was in the cargo bay.
Seriously?
Yes, you should have seen it. Handyman was chasing it all over the place, and we were cheering, and then he shot it, and it's like fell over, and he Handyman was gonna try and cut it open and see the insides. We're like, no.
Yeah, no. Handyman is not cutting I don't know what it is. What are we calling this?
Little Hodge,
Little Hodge. Okay.
because it's fast, it's clever and sneaky.
I think Hodge would be quite entertained to see this later on.
Where is Hodge? I thought she stayed with you.
She's on the ship. I think she's resting right now.
Adults are always resting.
Cheery, it's the middle of the night.
No, it's not. We just had lunch.
Okay, it's the middle of the night for Hodge and I because something strange is going on.
They look at you guys with like this like really surprised look on their face. Like, what?
Yeah, here, look at the chrono here. See, it's the middle of the night.
Look, we just ate lunch. We're not hungry yet. We hadn't had dinner.
I realize that something weird has gone on with time on board this ship, and we don't know what. Master Thaltanis is working on figuring that out. I just came to see you and this adorable creature. So, how long is it staying aboard?
Forever.
Forever. What do you mean forever?
Look, when Tassara gets back, we're gonna clean him up. We're gonna clean him and brush him, and look, he does tricks. Watch. And she looks at it and says, she like, sit, 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 and he kind of looks at her for a second, and then kind of sits down.
And who is gonna take care of this cute little thing?
I will, of course.
Oh, you will. You're gonna feed it and play with it and groom it and clean up its messes.
Yes, he says, confidence in her voice.
I think you should stay.
See, we got one.
I think it should stay. It's so cute. Would you like my help cleaning him up? Or her up,
No.
whatever.
We gotta show. We're gonna show Tassara that we can do this. She says, and all the girls nod their heads. That we can do this, and Tassara will let us keep it, and Durro won't be able to say no because he can never say no to Tassara. And they nod their head.
Well then, I'm gonna stay close by and supervise so you don't get hurt.
And it's
Because you don't know if that thing's gonna freak out if you try
it's-
and put water on it.
But it's Hodge. Durro can't kick Hodge out. If he kicks Hodge out, then you see, can't do it. Durro can't kick Hodge out. We've named it. It's ours.
You guys are adorable.
All right, give me 1 second. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Out of character, Durro the cat has to stay.
$20 points to anybody who gets the reference.
Hold on.
Sadly, I do not.
Googling it is cheating.
I think
Astro.
that's a good dinosaur. No. I recognize the characters from the commercial. I'm pretty sure that's the good dinosaur.
Monsters Inc.
Oh.
Hodge gets 20 points.
Oops, oh well.
Yeah, my quote was Monsters Inc.
That right there, that's Mike Wazowski talking to oh god, I can't even remember his name. About Boo. Sully about Boo.
Oh my.
That is correct. That is exactly what that is.
I was confused by the characters in the background.
Give me a second. I have to do some.
Raised eyebrow.
I looked at it. Fine.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yep. Kisara, you're back at the village. Are you ready to play?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I said, I mean, it's still, about noon. And things are, starting they're like everything is still slowly unfolding as it is.
Does she see either of the babies?
She sees the visiting baby.
Will she be able to approach it?
She will.
Okay, she keeps her hands at her sides, and approaches, sort of gently, like she's not running, she's not walking fast, she's just like approaching carefully.
Okay.
And she goes up to the mother.
The woman looks up at you. He bows. He utters something that bothers you.
Okay, what is it? Tisara kneels down near the baby and looks at the mother kind of like questioningly and holds out her arms.
And not there's a little confusion. She's clearly unsure of what you want, but then you hold out your hands. She of course smiles and lets you take the baby.
She takes the baby and she spends a moment holding the baby and looking at it, understanding that it's likely that this baby won't survive this thing. And she takes her thumb and gently, really gently, places it on the space between the girl's eyes on the forehead. Like we know it as the third eye part. That's like, you've seen that, right? You're putting your thumb on somebody's third eye. You've seen that, yes?
Okay.
Okay, so that's what she does. And she just says in basic, good luck to the child. And she hands it back to the mother.
One of the you recognize him as being the one who, you know, traveled with Durro. Comes up with a couple other people. We're watching from it. And they drop to their knee. They say, stand them. They're saying, "Thank you for blessing us."
She stands because, again, she had been kneeling. Um, Sort of dusts off her knees, and shakes her head and points at the baby because she knows they can't understand her and there's nobody around to translate.
They nod.
And she walks between them away.
And the moment you walk past them, they'll hold their position. And as you start to move towards them, they'll kind of lower their heads in respect and reverence. And the moment you walk past, they'll wait and then slowly come up to their feet again.
And now she's going in search of the Val folk baby.
Okay.
How long does she have to look?
Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing right now.
Okay,
Gotta go through my head and figure it out.
that's fine.
Okay. You do see Phelan and the professor sitting back on a nearby ledge watching everything.
So they saw her do that.
They did.
Okay. She knows that they saw her, but it doesn't deter her from her trying to find the other child.
Okay. There's a lot of children around.
Are there a lot of babies?
Not a lot of babies, but there's a lot of children. You don't see any newborn.
Okay. So when she was in the village before with Astra when they were preparing for the storm, she had heard the cries of labor going on out of this one hut that she had passed by. Remember that scene?
Yeah. Give me an intelligence check. Remember which hut it is.
Nope. 5.
Look around. So many look so different. They look just the same.
Well, she'll continue to walk around. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out and about, and I'm sure they're watching her. So,
There are a lot of people walking about. There's a lot of children. There's a lot of activity, and there are some, babies. But Sarah's not stupid. She knows what a newborn looks like, and not finding it. This motherfucker's only a few hours old at best. Where the fuck is it?
so can I roll again to see if she finds the hut?
Um, After about an hour, sure.
Okay, an hour would take too long. Does she see Nezial and Ja'rin?
Not in the city, not in the village proper, but you do remember them at the entrance to the village, where all the stuff is going on.
So she'll head that way.
Okay, and it takes you no time to move through the village and find Nazeal and Jaren. And as you walk up, they both looked at you, and their faces brighten as you approach.
I'm actually searching for the Valfolk child that was born during the storm.
Nazeal looks a little confused. Why?
I would like to bless her.
Oh, well, news for you.
She just stands there waiting patiently.
I don't know where the child, but I was talking with some of the other warriors, and I convinced them to speak on behalf to the elders. They're willing to listen to Asatha.
Master Theltanus has left the village. He has gone back to the Gungnir as he was needed there.
Well then, can you speak for him?
Yes,
Now, I'm willing to listen to you. Hear your words.
she kind of frowns at Nezial. When are they expecting me to speak to them?
They're in session now. Take you to their want to. I could tell them available.
I would
Sharon,
very much like to see the baby before I go speak to them.
I don't know where the baby is. We've been here the whole time.
Would you be willing to translate for me?
Of course.
Thank you, Nezial.
Darren looks proud. What's the matter, Tessara?
I just would like to see the child, that's all.
Did you check the temple?
Okay, out of character, could Tessara tell if she means the judge's temple?
The only temple in the village.
Okay, I just wanted to verify. No, I did not, and I couldn't understand them even if I could find it. But if you believe the child to be there, we can head that direction.
And now we're gonna go see the elders.
She frowns. I just requested to go see the baby before meeting with the elders.
We don't know where the baby is. We just suggested checking there.
Okay, I think there's a miscommunication.
I speak
I
basic.
I mean, I was hoping that you would come with me to act as a translator for the Valfolk when I find the baby.
Nezial and Ja'rin both look at each other and like, that's not what we thought you meant. We were gonna go talk to the elders. You and Durro said y'all wanted to talk to the elders, says Ja'rin.
Yes, we do. I do. Darrow, again, is not here. I'm telling you, I wish to find the baby and give her my blessing before going to speak to the elders. And I need Nezial or you, Ja'rin, to translate my blessing, or rather, my request to even see the child in the first place.
Ja'rin, Ja'rin kind of frowns as he speaks, taking this little god thing a little too seriously, Vitasara.
She raises an eyebrow at him. I just went and blessed the Nerani baby. I would like to do the same for you, the Valfolk child.
Why would you do that?
I'm trying to prove a point.
Puts his hand on his forehead, kind of shakes. Oh,
Do you see why it's important now that I find the child?
oh, yes, yes. I understand why it's important for you. I don't know why you would do this, but yes, I do see why it's important.
She calmly stands there and looks at him.
Okay, go check he turns into the Nazil. They're speaking their native language, and she can understand him. And he's like, "Let's go check the judge's temple and see if she's there."
She nods and steps aside like she's ready to follow him.
Nazil and Jaren look at you, nod. Jaren gets this wily smile on the edges of, and as they start to move forward, kind of speaks under his tone to you, Chisara. Clever, says.
She It's obvious that she heard him, but she doesn't respond to that.
And they're walking in towards the judge's temple, and Jaren's like, "So what are you gonna tell the elders?"
I don't know yet. You said I should think on it, and I'm thinking on it.
Zeal said you should think on it. I think you know what you need. Tell them that you don't have to follow these traditions.
I would like to tell them that, Jaren, but at the same time, I understand the utter disrespect that would show.
But you're a god.
She snorts and looks at him.
And he looks at you playfully with clearly with a sarcastic smile. Who goes around blessing babies?
Both babies, in fact.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She is literally just following him whatever direction that he is going in.
And they lead you up to the judge's temple and moves you into the first antechamber where there's a group of locals praying to the judges and to the spirits beyond. You don't see the newborns, but you do see Nezial talking, and she's working the crowd pretty heavily. Ja'rin looks over at you. What point are you going to prove that the child can't be killed because it was blessed by a god?
I thought that subtlety might settle more than telling them that their traditions need to be changed.
You're clever. I'll give you that. There's a lot of young warriors who want to see change. There's even members of the elders who want to see.
She does look surprised at that.
Nezial and I, friends. My mother believes that all just sit back and let these people be who. Nezial left this world. She saw the Republic, the Jedi, and what they could do. She saw the wonders of the Republic. You know what I'm saying?
You're saying that Nezial left Origin and went to Coruscant?
When my mother and father first visited this time ago, they took Nezial with them. They thought that showing her Coruscant would be something special. It was. Nezial was deeply moved by the world of the gods. So, she came back. They're here. Talking to others. Explaining the realm of the gods. She explained everything she saw, including the Jedi.
And they were receptive to it?
Look around. The spirits here don't manifest like Jedi do.
Out of character, when he says that, can Tessara assume that he means that she and Durro and the professor and anybody else that's an off-worlder can be assumed as a god? Therefore, the gods are manifesting themselves in a physical manner when the spirits do not. Is that what he's trying to tell her?
That is an assumption she can take, yes.
Okay, thanks. So she looks around the room. Is she still in the shadows and they haven't seen her yet, or have they seen her?
They have not seen her.
She turns and looks at Ja'rin. I can see that the baby isn't here, but do you understand how it is vital that I find the baby and bless her publicly, as I did with the Nurani?
Well,
Because the Nurani believe I blessed their baby, giving my blessing for her to win. If I do the same with the other child, it will cast confusion, which I need it to do. I understand that this is important. But both are important now, Ja'rin. Any more time passes and that baby isn't blessed publicly, we got a problem.
Yeah, well, maybe you should have thought about that before you started it. You should have planned ahead.
Forgive me for not being a god and seeing everything ahead of time. I'm trying to make a change here in a subtle way. Now you're telling me they are willing to listen to change, that I didn't know that. You didn't tell me that until now, Ja'rin.
Well, you didn't tell me anything until just now, Sarah.
So, congratulations, we're both human.
Bite your tongue. God here. Anyway, listen, not not everybody is receptive to change, but maybe enough are willing to listen to you. Our representative among the elders worked really hard to get you, well, get Durro to speak. Eve, enough of what you have to say to convince them. Change. God came in a chariot from the fire sky. My mother will never convince them, even knowing what she's done for these people. My mother will never, ever convince these people to change.
She looks over at the men. I'm certain they're probably all men, unless I'm wrong.
No. These are all women.
The council is all women.
No, you're not at the council. You're looking for the child.
Okay,
You're still at the judge's temple.
I'm not at the judge's temple, or I am.
You still are at the judge's temple. You're at the outer antechamber. Nezial is inside the temple, working the crowd, trying to find out where this child went.
Thank you for that, because I misunderstood the placement of where we were. So she looks over back at Ja'rin and she says, "Let's see what Nezial can find out about the child first. And I will be speaking to the elders. I do appreciate the work that she did to get me a place to speak. But,
Listen,
Ja'rin, question for you.
there might be a way that this can work for us.
I'm waiting.
Tell the elders that you blessed the Nirani child. You have chosen her to rule. But everything beyond that, well, them. Let it be up to them. The fate of what's to happen next. Strip them of traditions, these backward.
She looks hesitant about that. I am concerned that such an action would cause the Nirani to rise up and try to take over the village, because their gambling on their bets of who's going to win isn't complete yet. I will have taken it away from them, but what's to stop them from attacking the village in what shall I even call gleeful abandon that they won? What will happen to your village?
He smiles. Intelligence check.
It's a 12, but she'd also like to roll sense motive.
Sure.
Bonuses on origin, Davis.
Okay.
If you rolled a 12, that'd make that a 22.
That's intelligence, though. That's not
It's
a
not
skill.
a skill.
Right.
Yeah, but whatever it was you rolled. Don't forget to add your bonuses.
Yeah, so I rolled a 12 on intelligence, which I don't get any bonuses for, and a 15 on sense motive, which I do.
He being honest in what he says. He deeply wants you to deliver this message.
Okay, I'm polling the party.
The party about what specifically? I hate that. It sounds stupid, but
It's okay. What should she do? How should she proceed?
I she's firm in her convictions. Stay the course.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else?
I mean, when Durro last talked, when Durro was last on about talking to the elders, it was before he realized that these people saw the Jedi as gods. He just thought he was some guy that may, or an outsider that probably would not be respected, but he was willing to give it his best shot. If he knew now what Tassara knew, I don't think he would even be above you.
You got cut off.
If he were in Tassara's position now, he would probably not be above using his divine status to change things, Road to El Dorado style.
I mean, it's interesting to me that the whole time you guys have been told, don't use the force, don't use the force. They see it as an insult, blah, 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 blah. And now all of a sudden you've been deified. Somebody is not singing truths to this. And I was literally just saying, like, this is the same kid who was trying to yell, butt out, butt out. Don't try to, insinuate your ways on them. This is their way of being. And I respect it, blah, blah, blah. Now all of a sudden he's singing the Change All the Things tune.
Just roll with it. The origin storyline is like a fish on land.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't. That's bad advice. That's all I'll say.
I think he's changed his tune because he realizes that his girl might end up dying.
His girl might end up dying? How do you figure
Nezial.
that? Yeah, no, I got that. How do you figure that?
In the
Because
battle.
she's a warrior, she'll fight,
Ah,
and she'll very likely die, which is why he is willing to now change all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I need your clarification on what advice was bad.
logic on origin is a fish? Yes, no, Mike?
I got nothing.
He pleads the fifth.
Yeah, and his pants are burning.
Yeah, I'm polling the party and you popped in to say something. So I would really appreciate clarification about what you said was bad advice.
Durro and Hadassah were talking, making statements. I butted in at that point.
Okay, Ava? Nova? Nova's not on. Ava, do you have any input?
I was a little confused about what was going on, so I would have to listen to the recording later on to fill you in on that.
She's like, it wasn't about Ava. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Tassara,
Hold on.
Huh?
Hold on. Go back to Hadaza. Back to Durro. Ask some questions about what they were talking.
Okay. Hadaza, Durro, can you further elaborate on what you were saying?
If you're strong in your convictions, Amy, and you think you can make a difference, why are you hesitating? What is in your mind that says that I may be making a mistake here?
Likely because it is a step into a place of power that she has never occupied before, which means that she will have to be physically and energetically strong in her words. And I, as a player, am not always great at that. So I'm hesitating because if Tessara does this and that it blows up in her face, it blows up real big, like catastrophically big. So that's why I'm hesitating. I'm trying to ask for advice from the party because, what Durro said to me made me feel better. But then Mike did pop in and say that's not good advice. So I don't know if
That's not when
what
I
he.
popped in.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
Amy, I'm going to tell you the same thing I told Kitty. One side of the road, be safe. The other side of the road, be safe. Stay in middle, squish, just like grape. If the player, and I'll go you one better, if the player is experiencing hesitation and fear, is that the player or is that the character?
Oh no, it's totally the player. Like that's not Tessara. I am stopping because I, Amy, need a moment to make a decision.
Okay.
My character is also trying to make a decision, but it's not the same kind of decision. Do you see? It's hard to explain. Okay. So Mike, just to clarify. So they are at the temple, um, but they are only in one of the close to the edge rooms, like close to the door. There are only women, and Nezial is walking around asking the women about the where the child might be.
Well, you can't hear what she's asking, but she's talking to the women.
Okay. But Tessara understands that this is not the council of
Correct.
the elders.
That is correct.
Okay.
Do you, Durro, Hadaza, do you know when I popped in? What were you two saying? You two were making specific comments. I popped in and said, wait. And I said, that's not good advice.
I know they were talking about Origin being a fish, I think is what they said.
Yeah, but that's not. Go ahead, Durro.
Oh, that was the very last thing I said. I said just go with it. The origin storyline is like a fish on dry land, and then that was when you said that's not good advice.
And what were you responding to, Durro?
I was responding to Hodge pointing out that Ja'rin had changed his tune from "Don't use the Force; it's an insult" to "You guys are seen as gods. You guys are seen as gods. You can affect change." It was, Ja'rin changing his tune.
Sarah, does that provide you the clarification you were asking for?
Sort of. Okay. Tessara will kind of cock her head at him a little bit. Ja'rin, you've changed how you're coming at this since we've spoken in the past. First in the hut while the storm was happening, and then previously with Nezial, you wanted me to side with the Val folks so that you would win, and now you're telling me this. Forgive me, but I'm a little confused.
What's there to be confused about?
Well, before you were telling me not to try to change their ways, that this was how they were, and to try and change them would be arrogant, and I tended to agree with you then. But now you're telling me that they are open and receptive to change, and that Nazil had been where I didn't know that before, and that to me is good news. But can you see why I'm a little confused? Because yesterday morning you were saying that we shouldn't try to change them.
Yesterday morning, you were all buddy-buddy with my mom. Now my mom is distracted. And you want as much to change them as I do.
So you see this as an opportunity to slip through your mother's wall of protection around these people and their ways to make change through me.
Yeah, pretty simple. You're not going to stay here. You won't have to deal with her being angry at you. The younger warriors want a change.
Has it been clarified what kind of change they want?
He looks around. Look, there is so much that we can provide. Just a few seasons ago, this village was in ruin because of an attack that was here world. For them, they saw it as the wrath of the gods coming down on them, and they didn't understand why. This village was so pure. It filled this entire valley. Those who survived the war, well, changed by that. Gods are real. And when you cross them, you suffer a very real wrath.
She sighs.
There's a benefit to that, Zara. Remember, I promised I would never tell.
And I have no reason to believe you would go back on your word.
See, my mom doesn't want these people to see us as gods. God, be can a god be seen as something to be sacrificed? Sure, it doesn't turning on.
And they don't know that she was chosen.
There's that too.
Listen, I was willing to take on the mantle that you pointed out that I could wear to cause confusion and doubt as to what to do if both babies were blessed. I don't know as if I wish to step fully into that mantle, into that role, and say what needs to be changed, say what I think, and then vanish, leaving you and your mother to figure out what happened. And Ja'rin, it's we're here in this village. We are not in other ones. So there will be other people arriving here expecting one thing and finding another, and we won't be here. And then they'll look to your mother as if she is a god, and there will be not happy Phelan.
Won't have a choice. Anyway, you don't have to tell them what to change. All you have to do is tell them want change. Let them figure it out. It's best for them.
All right. That I can do.
See?
I just hope it's not the worst mistake I've ever made.
You're saving entire culture from being enslaved. Backward traditions.
So she looks over to see if Nezial has
She's
has
starting to make her way back.
okay, good. That's what I was hoping. And she'll look over at him. It looks like Nezial is returning.
See. And judging by that look, I don't think it's going to be. She walks up and frowns, shaking her. Maria, the mother, took her daughter early this morning. Visitors arrived, and an army arrived. She didn't want to let her daughter be killed, so she vanished deeper into the valley.
Do the neuron. Go ahead.
There's several oases deep inside. It'll take us some time. I believe we can find her.
No. No, let's not do that. It would take too much time. Besides, if the baby is safe, that's what I wanted. Do you think that she will remain safe, Nezial?
If the elders find out what she has done, they'll have her. She looks down. They'll have her. She's violating tradition.
Punished? Not great, but that doesn't mean put to death, does it?
Happens right now. The Narani don't know. They find more than local system.
She frowns. Would it make a difference that I have blessed their child and not this one?
The Narani would see it as that they were chosen.
Nezial, Ja'rin just told me that you had gone to Coruscant.
To the world of the gods, yes.
What did you think?
You're asking me to explain something. Explain. Beauties and wonders that are beyond the comprehension. As if somebody there flies. There's so much beauty. It's a world that doesn't sleep. It's the strangest thing. It's a world that has darkness, just shadows, real darkness, suns. There's only one.
Yes. Yes. The same for the planet I grew up on as well, although the planet I grew up on was much more like yours and not like Coruscant, although it did only have the one sun.
The Jedi Temple was. It was the best. Remember. I remember Master Chun taking me to one of the highest points. There was chairs and windows, and you could see for as far as the eye. There was nothing but, what do they call it? She looks to Jared and he smiles. Cities. There was nothing but cities where the gods hail. Master Chun
I
told me that it was in that very room where the fate of the entire galaxy is decided upon.
Yes, rather arrogant of them, wasn't it? And she kind of looks at Jaren and gives like a Thank you, Nizial. I have never been to Coruscant myself. Someday, someday I will. But I've also heard of its wonder and beauty. It's She looks around this village, and yet this this place has a beauty that's different.
People are backward. Know this. Jaren and I didn't know. Close to Phelan. Sorry, Master Duras. My master has very strict views. You're supposed to tell fellow people. Supposed to tell them the truth about the galaxy. There are worlds out gods capable of things. He didn't.
And yet, Master Dross is a member of that very Jedi Council that decides the fate of the universe. And she kind of sighs a little bit and pinches the bridge of her nose. She's like, and yet she is not my favorite person. And she looks over at Jaren kind of like shrewdly and she says, I don't know if you are either.
He shrugs. As long as you do your part, I will stay out of your way and away from you as much as you says with a.
So when are they expecting me? Or they're expecting Durro. I'm hoping they'll be willing to talk to me.
Well, I'm sure they're willing to come.
So are they waiting now?
We'll go right now. Speak to them.
All right, let's go.
All right. And so he'll lead you across the village again to the towards the elders, and Jaren will lean over. You're doing the right thing. You know that, right?
She looks over at him and kind of a thoughtful look on his face. No, I'm not sure I'm doing the right thing, but I'm doing something.
You're liberating these people from chains.
Yes, and that decision will echo and echo like
Yes,
ripples. And some of those ripples will be good, Jaren, and some of them won't.
they will
To
all
think
be
otherwise is naive.
change. Come to the
Why?
why a bug gets caught in your hair and you're sentenced to death.
All right, all right, all right. Just know that once we've left here, any ripples that I create with what I do tonight are going to cause negative, uh, hold on, player's trying to find the right word, reactions, as well as positive. Are you ready for both?
Ever since you and your friends came here, we have taken this.
So if I had not agreed to this, what would you have done?
Gotten Durro to do it. Either way, you both wanted change. It's good for them and you.
She just kind of sets her shoulders and nods, and he can tell that she's nervous, but that she's not going to back down. And I will point out that it's 9:52, sorry, it's 9:53. And I know that Durro likely will have to go to check out with us soon, so I just want to point out this is a scene that we may need to wait on.
Agreed. Before we wrap up, does anybody have any follow-up scenes they want to do? Anybody at all? Okay. Go ahead and conclude the game there. Any questions, comments, turns, curses, or hexes you wish to cast on the storyteller?
I will leave that to Hodge and to Sarah.
Is it a loop cat? Hello.
Huh?
I said, is it a loaf cat?
Uh-uh.
What is it?
It's a desert cat.
Desert cat.
Yeah, it's a desert cat.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty self-evident.
Nothing is self-evident in Mike's games.
Yeah. It is a cute cat, though.
It is.
You do know that the minute Tassara sees that thing, she's going to fall in love with it too. Durro's going to be like throwing his hands up in the air going, "Dear God."
I think Hadaza will love the cat too when she recovers.
I think she would.
Likely because they named it after her.
Little Hadaza.
Is that like Little Saint Nick? I don't have any questions. No.
I'm surprised. With all the stuff going on, no one has any questions?
Not right now, but I might later.
Does it? Did Ja'rin's questions to Tassara explain why, or give you a sense of understanding of why it seemed like he did a 180?
Mhm. Although I find it interesting that I I must have missed something about what changed in, and it may be on that missing 90 minutes about his interactions with why he now trusts her.
I wouldn't go as far as trusting.
Okay, at least thinks her a tentative ally.
Saw how hard Tassara was pushing to change traditions.
Yeah.
I
They
I,
were
I
they
kind of
were
disagree there, but okay.
they were alone in the tent where it was Tisara advocating for making changes when it was just him and Astra and Tisara, and she was advocating change then. I take that back. It was Astra putting her foot down and going, "No, no, 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 no." My apologies.
It was Astra.
Yep, it was Astra putting her foot down. "No, no, no, no."
Well, it was because Astra was saying, this isn't my culture. These aren't my people. Why would I be expected to? Which is a legit question.
Yeah.
Tassara wasn't saying anything about making changes. In fact, she was very hesitant to make changes. And I feel like it the way that the story progressed, it is surprising to me that Ja'rin would not have revealed that he and Nezial had gone to Coruscant long before now.
Well,
Because,
you guys,
huh?
you guys knew Jaren was from Coruscant.
Yeah, Jaren grew up on Coruscant.
I knew that. But the fact that Nezial had been to Coruscant, like that was news to Tassara. She didn't know that. And it was confusing to her as to why Jaren would not have told her that previously.
I understand. I have a question for you, Aim. I understand bleed, and tonight for reasons that are myriad and known, it seems like it's really gigantic. Um, the I have to ask why there's no differentiation in why what Amy is feeling and Amy's hesitation about making a decision or making that freeze is bleeding over into Tisara. Why that's so high tonight. You're like, Amy doesn't know what to do, and Tisara doesn't know what to do, and it sounds like Tisara kind of has a really good idea of what to do and how to handle it, but Amy is the one to pull is afraid. It's the one that's afraid to pull the trigger, and I'm curious as to why. Why Amy is afraid of the consequences Tisara is going to be doing.
Yeah, that's bleed.
And again, it's particularly heavy tonight. Somebody forgot to take some great god in the gamer sky forgot to take their Midol, and the bleed is egregious. But I just it was something I noticed.
Um, so my Amy's hesitation is I am not a public speaker. Like,
Says the
so
public priestess.
I'm not a public speaker. I'm a public priestess, which is a different thing because I'm not the only one out in the circle. There's a bunch of people out there with me with their own roles and their own energetic, uh, what's the word I want? Like addition,
Gotcha.
you
Mhm.
know? So there's a bunch of people supporting the priestess. This is Tassara stepping out into a public group, like very important group of people to speak about something that they might not want to hear, but they might, but she doesn't know. So my fear is that I would stumble over this speech basically. And I, as a player, would really like it if Tassara was able to step up and speak passionately and make a difference. But Amy, the player, isn't really good at that. So what I didn't want was it for it to come off as Tassara stuttering and stammering or hesitating when she wouldn't be, and I would. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Thank you for sharing. I was curious.
I think a good idea would be to work on what you want to say, write it up, have it in a script form. So get out there and say it. I mean, it sounds. I don't foresee this scene playing out like a conversation, so to speak. I see it be like, Chara's going to go out there and dictate to these people what they need.
A grand speech.
Right.
You
Yeah, I
need
think
to do better, Senator.
yeah, I think working on it, the points okay. So the other thing is, and this has been something that I am increasingly um worrying about as a player, um is that my memory is shit and getting shitter. So the other thing that I was worried about is, am I going to forget something important in this speech? So Mike's suggestion of writing it out is a really good one so that I can refer back to it and not forget anything, because I, as a player, more than once have stepped in a gigantic pile of dinosaur poo because I misremembered something or forgot something altogether and catastrophically fucked something up. So I was kind of nervous about this tonight. So Tesara was hesitant because this is a big leap for her. This is not something that she's ever really done before, and there are personal complexes that she has around speaking up and having her voice be heard. So there are Tessara's complexes about and her hesitation about them, but Amy's complexes and hesitation came from Amy's stuff. Does this any of this making sense?
It makes sense to me. I just want you guys to understand that the NPCs all have their own motivations. Lie, they're deceptive, they tell the truth, they have their own agendas. Always remember that. Don't discount something because it's a fish flopping on the shore.
Yeah, I'm aware Ja'rin has his own motives, and everybody has their own motives. Like all the NPCs. That's another reason I wanted to roll sense motive, because
Lost you, Amy.
sorry, I mistakenly thought that sense motive was going to tell you their motive, not whether they were lying or not. I thought bluff was to determine whether someone was being truthful or not. I thought sense motive was what it is their motive.
Sense motive is yes, and it can give you an idea of kind of what they want to do. I'm going to tell you what their motives are. More importantly, it will tell you if they're being dishonest or withholding something from
Okie dokie.
and you got a good role for it.
Yeah, I've got good ranks in sense motive.
What about the scene on the Gungnir? Any comments on that?
Yeah, I was promised an explanation on the whole timeline discrepancy, but all I have is more questions.
Well, that's because you tasked Handyman to do something else. I mean,
Oh,
if you
I see.
want, Durro can go talk to him, and we can do that right now.
No, it's after 10 o'clock. I gotta go. I gotta go to bed.
Okay,
Could they do an in between?
we can.
Sounds good.
Because I sure would like to know as well.
Yeah, I thought ordering the diagnostic would answer the timeline question. So
It will. You just have to get the information.
gotcha. Okay. Alrighty.
Good night, sir.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Am I gonna? Oh, go ahead, Lily.
No, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm actually curious about Talon. I know you said he's got personal stuff going on and he'll be around a whole lot less. His position is sensei. If he's not going to be around, we can't call on him for that. Is that still legit or no?
I mean, I can fill the role.
Okay.
I get that depends though. Am I gonna live to see tomorrow?
Yes, you're going to live to see tomorrow.
I'm happy. That was an amazing scene. The whole thing, everything from yesterday to today played in, and it weaved perfectly.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. That
It-
was
Rough.
it was rough.
Yeah.
Everything about it was rough. And then the reveal dropped and it was extra.
I thought you were going to be. I didn't. I made a mistake. I misjudged the situation of how it would boil over. I thought you'd be like normally are playfully angry, threatening me with curses and spoons, and realize it would be hurtful. I apologize for
I appreciate that. Yeah, that one landed at the end, landed wrong. And I'm gonna sit back and go for my own stuff and be like, well, why did that hit so hard?
Yeah.
There's obviously something in there, but that hit hard. I think that mostly because it threatened the stability of my character.
Yeah.
I can take the joke and I can roll with it, but it threatened the stability of my character after I had already been warned by you, stabilize the character, like give her some balance and and she was in a really good place. She was really happy and I can see the interactions with Astra getting her a little on edge. And then the last 6 hours literally drove her into like all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy fucking axe wielding shining through the bathroom moment. Like I went, wait a minute, what the fuck just happened?
Well, you do realize that this is that. So, Desara and I had been doing a lot of talking about, and it's been it's it's been my understanding that there's a degree of Eshe in Hadaza. I can see it in a lot of things that you do, and if I think, okay, what would Eshe do in this situation? And then I sit back and I wait and I watch Hadaza make her actions, make her decisions, and there's Eshe.
Uh-huh.
And then one big thing happened. Well, not really that big, but it was monumental in my mind because that moment, Hadaza, Asher had done something, and I'm pressing myself. He had done something. Oh, I remember. I remember what it was. It was Astra had accused Hadaza, Sarah, doing nothing when the professor delivered her ultimatum to her. And
No, she only accused
no,
Tessara.
hear me out. Didn't she accused Hadaza and Sarah in game? Now, out of game, afterwards, there was a conversation about it, and Hadaza's like, "Hey, why did you include me? I wasn't even there for that." And that conversation happened, but it was never corrected in game. And sure, We can all go back and like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'm sure, Asha would have never said that. And Hadassah knows about this, never corrected. And with that little hint of Eshe, Hadassah can't like somebody she doesn't respect. And Astra has been slowly losing that respect from Hadassah. Both characters have tried to keep it up. They have. They've really tried hard to keep it up. But it's been going south for a while. Not just a couple of days, but a while. This is the head. And here's my point entirely. Daza chose not once, but twice the last game to wrongfully remember something, change a fact to a falsehood, just to justify the situation. She sent her message to Durro, saying, with an image of Astra with a blaster, even though Hadassah never physically saw the blaster, she just knew Astra had a weapon concealed. And the right conclusion was it was a blaster. We all know that. That was the right conclusion. But to send the message that Hadassah wanted to send, she had to physically make a choice to change her perception. And then, in her own memory, she perceived Astra having a blaster in her hand pointed at her. Again, physically changing her own perception. She's willing that change.
The vision of Astra with the blaster that she sent to Durro was not wrong.
It was. I can prove it.
Okay.
Astra's blaster was concealed under her robes. You said, I'm sending an image of Astra with a blaster. Not a blaster concealed, not a blaster hidden in her robes. Picture of Astra with a blaster.
Okay.
Wording is everything. You know that.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Then, yes, the memory of it in her face. Yep. Okay. So she had changed the narrative. I will capitulate to that.
Right.
I've been thinking about this, and psychologically, the mind is a tricky place. And Astra's, when Astra was talking to Hodge about the questioning her about the vision, well, what, sort of the insinuation is, what aren't you telling me? And she was pressing Hodge to tell her more information, because it seemed to me like Astra believed there was more to the story than Hodge was giving her. Psychologically, in her mind, Hodge put a physical manifestation of that accusation into play.
I don't disagree. I mean, I absolutely don't disagree. Which is the reason why when we were building up the scene that you put in your journal, it was all that baggage unpacking in Hadassah's mind on a planet that is so prolific, saturated. I'll use the word saturated. So saturated with the Force that it resonated into real things. It resonated into a shadow. It resonated into a sensation. It resonated into something, which is the reason why I told Tassara there will be no bluff checks here. Hadassah truly believed saying, even though everything she said to Durro was fundamentally false.
I don't know about everything she said to Durro was fundamentally false. I think there were misconceptions and misperceptions there, but everything that came out of her face wasn't false.
Astra was not trying to kill her. Astra was not trying to suffocate her. I mean, that just every accusation that Hadassah told Durro was fundamentally false.
Yep.
It wasn't
She fundamentally believes it.
It wasn't a misconception. It wasn't. They were lies. They were lies told on such a level that Hadassah truly believed them because fear got manifested. Now, I will say this: I'm proud of Lily because she made a huge change. She made a huge choice not to manifest that fear and let it become, a hook into the dark side. Chose to draw on the light instead.
Yep.
So, I mean, there is that. And what Hadassah does next, an open road. But the mirror's been picked up and shown.
Oh yeah. She doesn't know what to believe. She prides herself on her accuracy of her memory. I mean, she can recite verbatim quotes and retains facts like nobody's business. Like this is a character trait of hers. And to have gotten that so wrong. It was more than just having her like this
This is a huge moment.
shattered her in a ways that nothing else yet has. And especially because she tried to do right. She tried to make it right and tried to be humble and tried to be thoughtful and went voluntarily and said, I I I I, I surrender myself. She got into this place of surrender and was at peace and was ready to do this out of love and compassion and in less than a day or less than 18 hours we'll call it, everything that she trusted about herself has been fucking crushed. Everything she trusted about her abilities, her knowledge, her wisdom, her skill set, her perceptions, the way she looks at the world. She can't look herself in the mirror. She just fucking shattered like someone had taken that mirror and smashed it.
Well, not for nothing, but that whole ghost conversation between Astra and Tassara didn't help any.
Nope. And there were other things going on behind the scenes. And her perceptions now are she can't trust herself.
Origin is a place where emotions are magnified. It is so saturated with the force that the more your emotions run away with you, the more they magnify. That's what Hadassah is feeling right now. That's what she's experiencing. They will continue to they will continue to spin out of control until she finds a way to get them under control.
See, that was the funny thing. It was really like the funniest thing. She found happy. She found content. She was ready to get up out of that chair and go forward strong and content and confident, and just she was right there.
Happened. Not accept being happy?
She absolutely could accept being happy. Absolutely was just she's still clinging to it somewhere.
Question you're gonna
And
have to
then
oh sorry.
and then little voices started whispering in her ear, and visions started appearing, and then Astra came in and doubled down on them, and then rat poison showed up, and then all of a sudden the world is sideways. She's gone into the upside down. And she is clinging, that song that she was putting on repeat and was playing over and over. She is trying desperately to hold on to the love and the support and the people around her and the happy. And then
Got big plans for Hadassah.
if you drive her insane, you won't be able to get them.
Driving her. I won't put her on the road. You turn onto that road. I'm in the passenger seat. Go together.
She was right there. She is in love. She has friends and family. She is gonna come out of this chair. She's alive. My God. She's grateful. I mean, the conversations in with Astra about gratitude and being able to be up and not she's fucking alive. I mean, God. She's got so much to be grateful for and so much to be happy for. And then this insidiousness started creeping in. She gave into it.
No. She didn't give in to it. She didn't embrace the darkness. She saw it. She knows it's there. She knows it's inside her. She knows it'll challenge her. She knows its ugly face. Saw it. Didn't embrace it. I refuse.
The fact that she saw she saw Astra with the blaster. She saw it.
Yeah. Gonna do forward. That's where you
Oh. She's got to figure that out because she's accused Astra of some pretty heinous things. She lied to Durro, who I'm gonna have to have another conversation with Wanderer. Like, Mike, let me ask you. You're a dude. You come
I'm
home.
sorry, just started laughing.
I know. I'm like, look. I know I'm fat, but I can start to see the head. It's there. I promise.
You're a guy. You're a total guy. You come home, and the woman to whom you have just pledged your life, your love, and the afterlife. That he said to her, Durro said to her, if you go If you die, I die. I will not let you walk the planks of the ship of the dead alone. This is in canon.
Yeah.
He sees her. Hysterical. She is freaking out. She's wild-eyed, literally. When you walk in, you see this creature that you have just made these pledges to. In that state, do you put a hand on her shoulder and say, there, honey? I'll do the best I can?
Yeah, because you're volatile. As you said, wild-eyed. Hugging you could set you off again. Measured actions, they were appropriate. Whether could have gone further, sure, but again,
I'm looking around at the girls in the room. Am I wrong on this one?
I
Yeah.
think what Durro did makes sense for Durro because he's a Jedi. Through and through, that's what he is. And so when Hadassah is this emotional thing, Durro's mind is probably going, okay, I need to handle this in the to maintain peace. Right back to his original Jedi training is probably what happened. And not thinking, oh, I should hug her. Or he was likely, like Mike said, thinking if I try to hug her, this might end in a volatile reaction. Like I don't know how many times I've been in the middle of a panic attack and my husband has tried that and has almost gotten hurt because I've flipped out on him.
But were you mad at him?
Nope.
Okay.
So I mean Durro's behavior makes total sense.
Okay. All right.
Well,
I'm glad. Head him.
okay. I think that my romantic self wanted Durro to put his hand on her cheek and say, it's going to be okay. Everything's going to be fine. I love you. It's going to be okay. Or give her a hug or something. Some loving reassurance that he was there. He was like her rock or some kind of other physical presence that would help ground her. And I was sad and disappointed that that didn't happen. But the words that Astor just spoke, I have to agree that his lifelong training probably kicked in and he just reacted the way that a Jedi would have reacted. Because you have to remember, this whole being in love thing is new to him too. So we can be disappointed that he didn't swoop in and take her up in his arms and go, everything's going to be okay. In which case, I believe Hadassah probably would have melted onto the floor in relief, but that's me. But that's my 2 cents.
I do want to point
Okay.
one thing out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop the clutch a little bit, to
That's cool.
give Hadassah a little bit of emotional breather. And I need to make sure I tell everybody this, and I'm gonna say it in the next game, and please remind me if I don't. I don't want to see anybody discrediting or dismissing the idea or suggestion of another person, because there was a really big reason why Ja'rin has the appearance of a 180. And Hadassah was absolutely right to raise the question. This place does have rules. Things do transpire on this place for reasons. It is a force saturated world. And the force resonates with emotion. That's why the dark side is so bad. Because this place is neither light or dark. It is saturated with the cosmic force. Hadaza's negative emotions that she triggered reflected back at her. And the more they spun out of control, the more those negative emotions continued to pelt her. If you go back, Hadaza, to Zara, read the chats, you can see it escalating. The more Hadaza lost control of her emotions, the more shit started to go south. It's the world itself reacting to an individual. Ja'rin is no different. He is reacting to the situation, and he has his own agenda. And when his actions don't measure up, well, bring it up. Question it. Because these are clues I put in there. Sometimes they're very subtle. Sometimes they hit you on the nose, like with Jared or Ja'rin.
Good to know. I don't discount his behavior. It was hinky. It was a red flag as it came flying across the screen going, now wait just a damn second.
It was
He
supposed
argued
to be.
he argued with Astra about these people and their traditions and how they do things and ain't that great, and it was just the three of them in the room.
Yeah.
He had no like reason to be his mother's mouthpiece in that moment.
Except for the fact that Kasara and Astra were really close to Fei Lin.
Mm.
And even after that, they had Kasara that following morning asked to see Fei Lin.
So he didn't trust Tessara with telling her that they had gone to Coruscant and the wonders of Coruscant had been revealed to Nezial.
It's not that he didn't trust her. He didn't find the conversation worthy to bring up at the moment. Because if it does, well, then what other conversations are going to come out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to get where you're at. And I'm really tomorrow I'm going to try very very hard to figure out how to get that conversation that happened between Ja'rin and Nezial and Tessara uploaded somewhere so that everybody can listen to it if they wish to, that more than 15 minutes of it. Because I don't know why it's doing that. It's pissing me off. Because like it's an hour and a half.
It's asking for logins. If you have a Dropbox login, you can log in because you're sharing it through Dropbox. Dropbox is only going to give you the preview. If you have to log in to listen to the whole file share.
Yeah, it's weird because the thing it says when it says anybody who has this link can listen to this video. So that's the first time that anybody's ever said that they needed to be logged in. Now, if they have their own login to Dropbox and do the link, they might be able to listen to the whole thing. But it's a bit much to ask people to create a Dropbox login just to listen to my recording.
You might also be able to download it. If there's a link there that says download to your computer, it may download the whole file so that you can listen to the whole thing.
Oh yeah.
I am also going to sit down with Astra over the next week and have her do up the schematics of the ship of how it lays out, so that we will never have these questions.
Okay.
Oh, you mean like what's the where?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least it isn't as confusing as the map of our world.
Yeah, you mean that was fucking crazy.
Because I guess we kept being like, now where is this again?
Where is this fucking place? Christ.
I think I got to the point where I just said, fuck it, I don't know. It's somewhere out there.
Yeah, you did.
Wait a minute. What do you mean that's on the east side?
Wow.
That's the west side. What do you mean west is east on this map? What the fuck?
Who did your map?
Oh my God.
I
It was
did
a
the
hot mess.
fucking map, and then halfway through the game, I realized, not even halfway, it was like a third of the way through the game, I realized I was looking at the map upside down the whole fucking time. And I'm like, motherfucker. So everything was backwards. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
I was having
That's
pretty epic.
hilarious.
Maps and me are not friends.
Yeah, if you need a map done, you might want to just talk to me.
Okay, so I need to put the. I'm gonna kind of pull a party. How? Nope, I'm not. I'm gonna figure it out.
Well, you can ask us for advice. We're not playing right now. We're all player talking.
Yep.
If you want. You don't have to, but you can if you want.
I am struggling right now with not having Hodge go to Handyman and having him just put her in the tank for a while.
Well, first of all, I have a follow-up question. How much is a while?
Oh, you know, a while.
That's,
Then, oh, I'm sorry, Asher, go ahead.
that's not very explanatory.
Well, okay. This is my thoughts on that. A day to rest and sort of decompress and, maybe get back in her body. Yes. But anything longer than a day is running away.
Not if some part of her thinks that she really is a danger to her crew. I'm gonna say the same thing I did when we found out that programming was going and she accidentally almost slipped rat poison into breakfast. Which, she's reminded of on a continual basis. She is, and now we've turned up the volume to 11. She's really that dangerous that she has lost control of her faculties, isn't remembering things correctly, she can't trust her senses. Taking her out of commission, putting her in carbonite, doesn't sound like a bad plan.
Okay. Good point. Good point. And it's absolutely in character for her to think about the safety of others before herself in this particular way.
Yeah. Because next time, she may shoot first. Next time, it may not be the bridge door that gets ripped to shreds if she goes on a tear and thinks that she's whatever.
Okay, let me ask this purely to the storyteller.
I'm up.
Is that something that that Hodge could do in an in-between if she so chose?
What do you mean?
Thinking with Handyman?
Putting her in the Baka tank?
Yeah, like if Lily decides during the week, between now and Thursday, if she wants to go to Handyman in an in-between and say, put me in the tank, Is that something that you want? If you're allowing to do in an in between, or do you want her to play that out live?
No, we can do that. We can do that in an.
Okay, the reason I'm asking you is that Durro also just went to talk to Handyman, and I believe that Hodge was on her way back to her quarters to do as he suggested, which is rest.
Yep. Went back
But
to her
if
quarters and then cried herself to sleep.
okay, so what I was trying to get at is if she decides to go to Handyman to ask him this, would she run into Durro? But you just answered that question that
Yeah.
no, she would not.
Look, so the player asked for a suggestion, and I have a suggestion, not as a storyteller, but as a fellow role player. Daza had a really unique experience that most people never have. Got to see the ugly that is deep within her. It was brought to the surface and manifested itself. Saw it firsthand what it could do. Runs from it, then that's a choice. But she's running from it. That's my wisdom.
Funny, you and Amy share the same wisdom.
That's because he's my brother. That I occasionally smack around.
Occasionally.
Sib,
Only when I
was
pick up
gonna
the
say.
check.
Remember,
You
I
forget
see
the
you
what?
tomorrow.
Yeah, where's lunch tomorrow?
Yeah, dude, where's lunch?
I'm thinking of up in Kissimmee, but I can't figure out a decent place to go.
Well, you also have two other people in the mix. You can ask Jess and Sammy what they want.
Hmm.
Text me in the morning to tell
Yeah.
me where.
Yeah, we'll let you know. So I
Does
know
that help, Lily?
Lily, did that help?
It does. It's the same story she's been fighting all along. She's got this god awful monster. It's in her coattails, and she believes she's. It's funny because I look at the whole interaction as the manifestation of self-fulfilling prophecy. She's been so desperately afraid of the monster inside her that looms there and lurks there, and she ran into it finally. And
Did she run into it? Run so far she running to it.
circling. Good question. It's a really good question.
How goes job hunting?
I have an interview Monday morning at 9:45.
Where?
Oh, what the hell's the name of the place? I don't know. It's on my money altar. It's
Haines
the
City, right?
first in. Yeah, it's the one in Haines City. And the Sensicon one that I did the interview for, I thought they were gonna have me fly down and meet in person. I've tried to reach out to the guy who did the interview. Don't know what's going on over there. I haven't heard back from him yet. So we're gonna make that phone call on Monday. Left a message on Wednesday when he got back from he'd been on vacation for the Easter holidays. So he was off on Good Friday and didn't get back until Wednesday or something like that. So I don't know how far behind in his reality he is. So I'm gonna give him until Monday and call him again. But I also have an interview 9:45 on Monday morning. So job hunting continues.
What about Amy's workplace?
I am not fit to work in accounts payable according to the skills test that I took. They decided to hire somebody else.
Yep, but I'm still talking to my boss about, possibly doing something different. But I don't know what's going to come of that.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
But there is good news. So the park that I live in, the